pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everybody this evening that's here and online. Appreciate that. I want to start out with saying I certainly appreciate all of the first responders, second responders, third, whatever, that have helped with our tragedy flooding in this county over the past week. It's been an awesome experience to see everybody working together. Thank you. And we'll be talking more about that during this meeting, several different issues. First item of business is approval of our minutes of the last workshop a month ago.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Any questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes on the council's part.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
For the same sign, motion carries.
Thank you. Dan Burke's first on the list.
Hi, Dan. Good evening. I appreciate everyone getting me on the agenda so quickly. We found out yesterday that we have been approved through the Rural Health Grant. I've discussed it before this body a couple times and through the Health Board a few times. We did receive a contract or an agreement, and that is for an award amount of $661,913, and that goes until the end of July, I believe, next year is the budget period. And what that entails is us creating that jail release program with 2 community health workers, and then providing maternal and child health services through a mobile clinic. With that said, we all know what the issues are with the current mobile unit that we have. It's out for service now and will probably be out of service for quite a while. But $268,000 of that grant has been approved to purchase a new mobile unit. So we can purchase a new one under the specs that we want. We can have it ran through, I guess it's the Sheriff's Department's garage now with their mechanic and the specs and everything that we want. We can build it from ground up the way we want it this time, and have warranties and so forth, so on. There's $104,000 set aside for personnel, and that's for the 2 community health workers, which would be contractual through the Virgins Company. I'm working on a job description now. I'll send it to Kim, even though they won't be county employees, so we'll have one on file for the county if we ever move that direction. We have travel expenses in there for those 2 people, the $268,000 for the mobile unit and things to outfit that mobile unit with, and $197,000 for supplies, and that will move more towards the maternal and child health side of things than it would be the community health worker program. I did meet with the Sheriff's Department on Tuesday. I met with Chief Deputy Alan Moore and his future Chief Deputy. The Sheriff was unable to attend. They are both on board for the program and excited to see it implemented if so. So I'm asking council permission to move forward with this particular grant for those services.
Would you remind us if this has a match requirement or
It's a reimbursable style grant, not a match.
100% reimbursement?
Dan, is this for a region? Was this a regional?
So the grant itself was a regional approach. So I was a part of a Region 4 chronic disease committee, and that kind of branched off into things, but the main focus of that committee was community health workers. So, for instance, Reed Health should receive community health workers, Neighborhood Health, Henry County Health Department, and a few other private entities throughout the region, which is
So the whole
13
thing is
counties.
not just Wayne County?
This is just Wayne County. The
Oh,
award
this is
amount
Wayne
is just
County's
Wayne
portion.
County, is our
Okay,
portion.
okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I believe the contract says it's a 5-year term, but the number you quoted is only the first year budget from
Correct.
July of '27. Do you anticipate the contract actually continuing for a 5-year?
For the 5 years, they're saying that it's going to be a 5-year. We'll have to reapply once his first term's over and for the second award, the second budget period, but it should last for the 5 years. And they're telling us as long as we get our numbers in as we described and meet our deliverables, that there shouldn't be an issue moving forward, but it's what they said that with Health First Indiana as well. But if we can move forward with this and get everything purchased and meet our deliverables, at least we've met that and we've been reimbursed for everything we purchased through this budget period.
Can we
Could the
can we
follow-on
sell-
grants be of equal or close to equal value?
What was that question, sorry?
Would the following year grants, would they be near the same value?
No, they wouldn't. They would exclude the $268,000 because we've already purchased the mobile unit. They would cover supplies for the maternal and child health, and it should cover the contractual agreement between us and Virgin to pay the 2 community health workers and the fringe, the 35% that is part of that contract that equals the fringe for that and the travel expenses. So I would assume it would have to be reduced by at least $300,000 or more, so the second budget period would probably be in that 250 to 300 range.
Kathy?
I'm sorry, my other question is, are we able to sell the mobile unit we have now? Is it
I believe
fixed and is it able to be sold?
once it gets repaired, Steve's shaking his head yes, so I believe
Okay.
that will be put in motion.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on that? I know we did mention at one point in time, the mobile unit, we'd like a pull truck and a trailer. What I'm running to in my research is the bumper pull trailers don't have generators. So we'd constantly have to be hooked up to shore power, basically, no matter where we were at. So it's looking like we may have to go with something similar to what we have that has a built-in generator to it. There's been a few fifth wheel style trailers I found with generators, but they're pushing $400,000 or $500,000, well out of our budget range. So, but that's a discussion for another time, so.
Other questions of Dan? So the action you're requesting is specifically,
So the Board of Health has given me permission to be the signator for the board on this. I'm asking council's permission to move forward and sign that and send it back to the state.
so we both need to approve.
The board's already approved it.
But I mean, both commissioners and council.
Commissioners
Yes,
need to
correct.
approve it
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
Okay,
And
so
council.
do we have a
I
motion?
move we allow him to.
That was quick. It was moved and seconded that we approve that the implementation of this grant. All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve grant contract 102662. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right. I know I'm only on the agenda for this particular item. Do you mind if I give you a quick update where we are with the flood and our actions?
We would certainly appreciate that.
Okay. So as of right now, we're set up in Cambridge City, operating a vaccine clinic from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. each day as to offer tetanus and hepatitis A vaccines. We started that on Monday. On Monday, we administered 34 vaccines. Yesterday, we did 18. And as of 4:30, when I talked to Beth over there, we'd already done 23 today. So we're also distributing mosquito repellent wipes, so people can pull them out of the pack and wipe their arms and necks and all that down. And we've also supplied them with larvicide packets, and these are little packets that are in water soluble packets that you can throw in bodies of water. Each packet represents a 50 square foot area, and that will kill any mosquito larvae in that body of water for up to 2 weeks. So we have some of those over there, and I've ordered more just in case they go. We're conducting well testing in all the communities that have been affected. We did 9 tests on Monday in Cambridge City area. We did 4 on Tuesday in the rural eastern side of Cambridge City area. We didn't have any scheduled today, and I've not had a chance to talk with my environmental staff. Doesn't mean we didn't do any. We just didn't have any scheduled for today. We have 13 scheduled for Thursday and Friday in the Williamsburg area. Out of the tests that we did, the 9 tests in Cambridge City area, we had 6 come back positive for E. coli or coliform. 3 of those were on Jacksonburg Road, and 3 of them were on Frontage Road. So they're clustered, and so that tells me the water pooled in certain areas there. So we're providing the citizens that we get the positive results with on how to chlorinate or disinfect their wells, and then once they go through that procedure, they can call us back and we'll go up and do another test to see if it's cleared out. So, I submitted a request through Matthew and Web EOC for some, not really PPE, but something similar, rubber boots, work gloves, and some goggles for people cleaning out their homes. A few hours ago, I did receive a couple calls from the state. They granted that request, and those supplies will be delivered tomorrow to the church. That's 400 pairs of boots, 300 goggles, and 500 pairs of work gloves. So they should have those tomorrow at the church. We're coordinating with Madison County to provide fogging equipment so we can fog some of the rural communities for mosquitoes. I do have 2 Category 8 licensed inspectors at the health department. We just don't have the equipment to do the fogging, so we're borrowing that. We're probably going to order some pelletized mosquito larvicide pellets so we can take some kind of broadcaster. We could hit like the parks and football fields and stuff with that, and that will kill all the mosquito larvae too. So they, with the Category 8 license, they both can apply to public zones. And they're picking up that truck tomorrow in Madison County. We are tracking all time, travel, and cost as far as supplies, overtime, mileage, all that good stuff. We're keeping track of that, so when Matthew's ready for it, we can send it to him.
I do have a couple of questions, Dan. When I was there Monday out by the dumpsters, the bees are horrible. I don't know if there's anything that you could do for the bees. I don't even know what kind of bees these were. They were more like those little bit bigger than the sweat bees, but they were terrible.
I don't think I can do anything with the bees other than provide my staff with an EpiPen on site over there, but Reed Health is running their EMTs right behind us for first aid, so they may have one, but I can make sure if they don't have one, that we have one on site, but I don't think I can deter the bees.
Okay, the other thing is you're doing the vaccine clinic for the folks watching. Would you tell them what that is for and why they would need those shots if they've been in a flooded house or whatever?
So the Tdap is in layman's terms, it's if you step on a nail, you get scraped, whatever infection enters your blood, you can get, infections that would require antibiotics that can give you a lot of gastro issues. So the Tdap prevents that infection. So, and then the hepatitis A is from fecal matter in the water if you ingest any type of fecal matter.
And where are you giving their shots again?
At the Cambridge City Church. That's Monday through Friday, 3 to 7, and then we're setting up a clinic in Williamsburg on Saturday to do those residents as well. We're set up Friday in Hagerstown before we go to Cambridge City to do a clinic over there as well. Reed Health, we may end up, right now we're not scheduled in Cambridge City on Saturday, but we've been in communication with Reed Health. They may take over the Williamsburg clinic so we can remain in Cambridge or vice versa for Saturday.
Thanks for that info, because I know a lot of people are watching the meeting tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And where are you setting up in Hagerstown?
Trustee's office with Chris.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Dan?
Keep up the good work.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
We want to thank you and your staff.
I appreciate that. I'll let them know.
Thank you. Mark, you're requesting a transfer.
I only have 7 copies of that, so.
And I think that involves a contract which the commissioners would need to act upon first. Is that correct?
I don't know which way you want to do it first. Talk to Jeff and it was to get money first and then.
That's my thought, but do you have a copy of the contract?
Yes, but I got something I want to say first. I want to thank council for letting me have the opportunity to request a funding change in my budget that would allow me to hire a first deputy. I know the request was on short notice, and I appreciate your consideration. As we all know, the last 3 years that I have been auditor, there has been turmoil between county council and county commissioners and the auditor. I firmly believe that turmoil was caused as much by me as it was council and commissioners. It is my deep desire that in the next 4 months, which is my term, that they be tranquil. And I believe that this person will help me, after you see her credentials, will help me do that. I am currently working with the next auditor and trying to show her things in the office that she is not familiar with. That's not a knock on her. She's a good payroll clerk, but as in any situation, there are things that I do and the first deputy did that she needs to have information about. And I'll do that as long as she wants it. I'm not pushing that on her. And she and I have talked about that. The lady that I want to hire, first there has to be a transfer from the first deputy salary to contractual. This person will be hired through Manpower. I just got the copy of the contract today. I gave it to Mr. Cross. He's looked at it. And if he has any questions about it, I'll let him ask if he has a disagreement with the contract.
No, it's standard Manpower form. I'm familiar with it. Terms, I don't know. I don't even know what the hourly rate for this person would be. So that's it. The Exhibit A was where the commissions and up charges are. So that needs to be looked at if you're looking at making sure you have an adequate appropriation for it or transfer it.
The appropriation transfer that I requested should be enough to take care of this. She understands fully that when I leave January 1st, she's more than likely to be out too, and she accepts that. I interviewed her today again. For what my needs are, I think she's exceptional. And I'm giving you a copy of the resume. You don't have to, but I want you to see it. So I'm asking that a transfer be made in my budget. And the transfer is still less than the appropriation that my first deputy was. But I believe you have the transfer papers from the chief deputy to contractual, which would be Manpower. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Mark, what is the reasoning behind going contractual and not just hiring this individual as an employee?
I tried to hire on an individual basis, and because of the short term, I couldn't come up with any. I came up with a couple, but they weren't what I wanted. I then I've hired through Manpower before, as I think Steve Higginbotham has. I went to Manpower. They said they had somebody that they would send to me. I interviewed her before. I interviewed her now. I got her resume, and I think she is a good person to have in my office.
Can you not hire her without going through Manpower?
No, I've already approached Manpower about that, and they will not release her.
Oh, so she's under contract with Manpower?
Must be.
I think there's some concern, Mark, in departing from the standard process of of you appointing a chief deputy that would be an employee of the county and operate on that basis. It seems like under this circumstance, this wouldn't actually be a chief deputy. It would be in some fashion an assistant to you rather
Okay.
than a chief deputy.
She would fit that slot of first deputy or chief deputy in my budget.
But would this person actually be able to perform the auditor's functions if you were not available, which is what the
I
chief
don't know
deputy
that
does?
she would be able, or anybody else that's in the office could. I assume so. I can answer yes.
So she would have the authority to function as what we normally consider as a chief deputy.
Except that you have an employee that has a job description that is similar to the first deputy's job description. And this person will operate not on that job description. That job description rests with somebody else if I want them to do what that job description calls for. This person is going to help me through what I need to do in the last 4 months to leave my office to the next auditor in the best shape that I can. That includes working with the next auditor and physically sitting down with her and explaining why I do different things and what the state expects. Like I said, I'm doing that now. You still want me to?
Sure.
Okay.
Anything is helpful.
I think the appropriate step is council would not need to do anything contingent upon commissioners approving the contract.
Well, I have a question, kind of back to what you were asking, Barry. Maybe this is a Ron Cross question. So if you have somebody that's going to, in essence, serve as chief deputy, you're out of the office, they sign, but they're technically still an employee of Manpower, right? Because we'd have a contract. How, is that legal?
I will swear her in as my chief deputy.
Well, but if she's a Manpower
It
employee,
won't matter. I can give her the right to sign my name.
but is it legal is my question.
That's my question too, and
Yeah.
Ron, do you know the answer on that?
Go ahead.
I'd have to look into it, but I mean, I think he can appoint a chief deputy. The fact that that person's not an employee of the county is the issue. And
Right.
And how does that impact that person being the chief deputy?
Right. That's my
I
question.
guess the question, would it be legal?
Not that we're trying to
Okay.
keep you from
Okay, let me answer
getting
it
help,
this way.
but
Everyone in that office is sworn in. I did that the first day I took office. Everyone in that office can sign my name or use a stamp.
but they don't work for Manpower is the issue.
No, they do not.
That's the issue, I think.
Right. I agree.
Mr. President, so I'm trying to figure out what problem we're trying to solve. Are you just needing administrative help in your office to get through the transition?
I have
Because it seems like,
I have several projects I need to finish, and in talking to her and reviewing her resume, I believe she can help me do that.
so I guess my question then for clarification is, it doesn't sound like you need a chief deputy because frankly, she's only going to be here 4 months. And so there's no way she's going to even know what the job is in 4 months. So you're looking for somebody who can type memos, get things organized, and get
Goes beyond that,
transitioned
but
out?
yes.
Okay. Because I don't,
And I
I
have
guess for me,
certain
I don't
things-
see that we're approving a chief deputy position. We would be approving
Is your
administrative staff personal contract.
your,
Yeah, you're right, it is temporary. It's
is your
not-
grant clerk spot open right now? I can't
No.
remember. Okay.
So Kim, if is the situation. In other offices, when there is a contract with a temp agency, do they go through a process of a job description, or how do we?
No, and when I talked to Mark originally, we had talked about maybe utilizing the funds for the chief deputy, getting those transferred into creating a contractual line item, transferring the funds into the contractual line item. You told me you didn't have one, and paying that person out of a contractual line item, and he would oversee the day-to-day duties of that individual. They would not be a county employee, and he would direct their work, but they do not sign a job description.
But not as a chief
But it would
deputy.
not be the chief
It
deputy.
would be contractual, and we do that with other offices, such as prosecutor's office has done that in the past with clerical. It's out of contractual line item. Steve, you're out of a contractual line item also for yours. It's out of contractual line item.
So how do you come up with the pay for that individual? Because that's going to be different than what a chief
Manpower
deputy
does.
would have
Manpower
got.
does, and then they
Okay.
pay.
So the cost to us.
30% or whatever.
Their pay is based on the hourly rate that is assigned by the client,
Right.
Okay.
So if,
and a percentage markup on
That's
that.
where I was
so
going
we,
with that.
we would
Okay.
tell them, this is this kind of position, and we're willing to pay X dollars per hour, and then they would mark it up by the additional cost to them, their surcharge, if you will, to come up with the contract price. And so what is the underlying hourly rate that you've given them, Mark?
The amount of money that she would get paid is what my first deputy got paid.
So
We can't do that, can we, Kim?
It would be paid on the,
Well, it's contractual,
Paying the
so,
company, we're not paying a person.
Right,
I mean, it could,
So we can pay him any
we could
amount.
do it.
right. But being,
And so the contract is for what amount?
The markup is,
It's 1.4, go ahead.
I think it's 1.4 of the hourly rate. So it's the hourly rate plus 40%.
Okay, so what's the hourly rate
I'm
that
reading
we're
it right.
talking about?
Well,
And what's the
It's
total?
the same rate as a for
chief
chief deputy.
deputy's at 32 an hour.
The bill rate is 1.40% regular and overtime wage.
say that again, I'm so sorry.
1.40 times the regular / overtime wage rate, bill rate for manpower. So if it's $20 an hour, it's $28 an hour manpower's going to be billed.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure on entering into a contract on a
I
position?
see
for the-
I hear no benefit to the county, and all we're doing is wasting taxpayers' money to hire somebody else when Mark is not in the office. We're paying his salary, and now we want to pay a part-time person to come in for administrative. I have no desire to do that.
my concern is that it's an administrative position, and there's other administrative positions, and then you're going to pay this, I know it's a contract through Manpower, but the pay rate's going to be different.
Significantly higher.
Correct,
Rate
and
of
for duties that are being,
pay, similar
done.
to,
correct.
And I think
That's
there's a
that's where my
legality
concerns are
issue
too.
there, too.
I agree. Because they cannot perform any chief deputy duties, I don't believe. I mean, that'd be a wrong question again. We're not for sure, but I don't know that they can be given that authority, not being a county employee. That's kind of where I'm at, and I'd like that question answered too, before we would even consider a contract. That's where I'm at.
so at this point, there's no motion or second to approve a contract. Ron, can you look into whether this could be a chief deputy position? And I think that's part of the issue, is paying at a chief deputy's rate.
Doesn't the chief deputy's job description include some, what I would call quasi supervisory responsibility over the other deputies in the
Absolutely, they're
office?
basically second
Second
in
in
charge.
command.
Yep.
I mean,
Which she would be for 4 months.
yeah, but I guess.
Contractors
I
being.
know what you're saying.
I guess the ability, I mean, the authority to do it may derive from the designation of quote chief deputy, but the practicality of being able to do it with without a relationship established by any of the other employees. I mean,
Brad, I understand your animosity toward me
I have no animosity towards you, Mark.
as we
I don't
were
even want to go there.
competitive, let me finish, competitive in an election. I
Has nothing to
am,
do with it.
Brad, I am county auditor, I am on the job, I am in this office every day.
For an hour.
I don't care for how long. I am in the office to do what work I have to get done.
But then you're asking us to spend taxpayers' money for more work that needs to be done in there that you could do.
No, I am asking to have a first deputy appointed by me in that office.
You can appoint
If
a
you
first
don't,
deputy.
listen, if you don't want to do that, fine, and I will not pursue it. But that is going to create, I am making every effort to get along with council and commissioners. And by not allowing me to do this is going to be a roadblock to that end of mine. And I would hope that end of mine would be one that you would want also.
I think the thrust of what we're saying is you absolutely have the right to appoint a chief deputy who would be a
Right.
county employee,
But this
but not
woman
through
will
this
not be
contractual.
an employee.
But you can't get
Exactly.
one through
And so,
manpower because it's,
Therefore, could
Right.
not be the
The
chief
same
deputy.
you
contract would
just
come
need to
from
look
anybody.
for
in
somebody
that
else. Yeah, but you can hire the chief deputy, as we've said, by law, you're allowed to do that.
Yes.
It's
Right.
the issue
And I'm saying to
is
you, I
just the
can't find
contract.
one. I'm not going to talk. If you're not going to let me do this, that's up to you.
Mark, it's really not that we don't want to help you. We all understand it. We want to get along in that, but we can't take this route because we're fearful of legal ramifications. And we don't want to go there. So if you can find somebody else,
I
keep
understand
them.
what you're saying. That is
Yeah.
not what Brad said.
That's what I'm saying.
I said I
So
understand what you're saying.
Okay, so,
All right,
I think it's pretty clear, Mark, that the commissioners do not wish to sign this contract. Without approval of the contract, there's no need to act at this point on transferring the funds. And if you were to hire a person as an employee, as chief deputy, there would not need to be any action on either of these bodies. So I think that's the end of that discussion today. Correct?
correct.
And if Ron comes up with any information that would be helpful or clear up anything, we'll consider that in the future. But at this point, I think this discussion is ended. Brandon?
Thank you.
I believe this is a commissioner item of business, is that correct?
It is.
Yes, good evening. Just want to say thank you to council for letting me borrow a few minutes of your time to address the commissioners on two contracts that I have before.
This is a joint workshop, so this is their meeting
fine.
as well.
So the first item before you is an on-call contract with our current bridge inspection consultant. In the past, we have had the federal contract to inspect our bridges every 2 years, and with the bridges that fall into yearly inspection, that is the federal contract that we have. We also do an on-call to do any kind of intermediate inspections or damage inspections that we've received during the recent flood events. So we do not have a current on-call contract with our current bridge consultant. So before you is an on-call contract. It's based on an hourly rate with a not-to-exceed value, and it would be approved whenever there's a need for that service. So each need would have its own specific task and not-to-exceed value.
And this is essentially the same format for this contract that we we've used in the past with
Correct.
the former bridge inspector, right?
Correct, yes. And this one is with Butler, Fairman, and Seifert.
And this is for a specific bridge inspection?
Yes, so once we have your blessing on the contract, we do have 5 inspections that were required for the damage inspection that we've had on some of our bridges. So they will do that work and get back with us with any remedies, fixes, and report back on us on that.
All right. Ron, any comment on the format of the contract?
No, I reviewed the one with the county. I think it's fine.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the contract for emergency bridge inspection. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Brandon, do you have any right off the top of your mind that you're going to utilize this for immediately?
Yes, so we've got Waterfall Road Bridge, Center Road Bridge, and there are a couple other bridges throughout the county, so 5 total.
Okay. Is there just one copy of this for us to
Yes,
sign?
just one copy.
Okay. All right,
Then
what's
the
next?
fact that damage to that road is going to change the need to get those unknown occupant unknown owner right-of-ways finalized.
Yes, so what I'd like to do, based on the damage that we've received on Waterfall, we are going to have to post the road now. The deck and wearing surface is now in poor condition, so I'm hoping to use that as leverage to NDOT. I know we're still a couple of years out on the replacement of this project, but hopefully to use that as leverage to put us in front of the list to get through the environmental document, get through the right-of-way, so any help on your end would be.
I can do that, but my concern was whether there'd be additional right-of-ways not previously identified based upon the changed scope of the work anticipated due to the flood damage.
So I had the project designers out there. They didn't anticipate any need for additional right-of-way with the damage that we've seen. It's stuff we can repair within our current right-of-way.
Great.
So Brandon's on our agenda to update us more about flooding issues in a little bit, correct?
Yes, I do have one more thing.
Got one
Okay.
more
And then I can get to that. So the second contract before you is the MOU for Indiana SHPO, the Historical Preservation Officer, and Wayne County for Bridge 511, that's Mulberry Street in Cambridge City. Because Cambridge City is a historical district, there's a mitigation we have to do with the bridge, document the current bridge, and then put up a sign talking about the bridge and the history behind it. So very simple process, but this is part of getting our environmental document approved and moving forward with the design, so.
Okay,
Motion to approve.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome, thank you.
Thanks, Brandon.
So Mike's team has been diligently working on getting our roads and bridges back into shape. The flooding damage hit Waterfall pretty hard. It stripped the asphalt wearing surface that we had put down several years ago, and also eroded the southeast embankment around the sanitary manhole and undermined the road. So we've come up with a plan to dig out all the debris, strip off the asphalt that is there. We're going to repave it, and we're going to add concrete into the embankment, bring the embankment back up, fix the road, and hopefully get it open back up. Just initial cost estimates, we're probably looking anywhere between $75,000 to $100,000 here to bring that road back up to speed to where we can open it, and it would open as a posted bridge.
Brandon, I didn't hear, which one is that you're talking about?
This is the Waterfall Road Bridge.
Thank you.
We had another bridge up on Center Road just north of Fountain City Pike. On the south side, the roadway approach right up against the foundation had washed out. So we've got a plan to add concrete and stone back in there to fix the undermining of the foundation, and add riprap to protect the piers in the future, and pave the section of road that we lost. So that one, we're looking anywhere between 20 and 25,000. It's just a rough, very conservative estimate. So between the two projects, we're probably up around $100,000, give or take, for those two repairs. And those were the only two bridges that were hit pretty hard. We did have a couple minor washouts on some of the other ones, the west side of the county, but we have since fixed those and got those opened back up.
Do you have resources available in the right line items to do the repairs? Do you need transfers or?
At this time, we do. I've got the bridge and structural materials line item. I think it's got $250,000 in there. So we should be able to get through with any needs there. And of course, we are tracking it for Matthew and hopefully getting some reimbursements through FEMA when that time comes.
Great.
Brandon, what about Elks Road, just out of curiosity? We're having problems with that. Did the storm make it worse now, or?
I went out and visited it. It does look like it's continuing. I don't think the flooding that we got has hurt it, but its current situation, it is still kind of sliding down. And we do have a geotechnical consultant that's been monitoring it, and should be this fall coming up with a couple repairs that we can do either in-house or contracted out. So we'll have a better understanding of that later this year.
Thank you.
Any other questions from Brandon?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Kim Clauser has some things for you.
Yes. Kim?
So two things we're going to talk about and make a decision hopefully tonight on health insurance premiums. And for the commissioners, I did have sent you the spreadsheet showing the different suggested, what you can pick from 15% increase down to 2.5% increase. And also it's divided with Plan A and B. So I'm looking for desire from commissioners or where you want to go with these premiums for the year. And then after you do that, I do have the dental to go over with you.
You need to make a decision on what the premiums will be so that as we go into open enrollment, you have all that information to
Yes,
share
because
with.
we need to build the system up to get ready for October open enrollment.
I've had a chance to look at it. I don't know about the rest of you.
I know the last, 3 years, there's been no increase. And I know our healthcare costs continue to increase. And honestly, I'm not in favor of going to 15 or the 10%.
Absolutely
But
not.
I really think the 5% is fair and it's a good spot to land.
Let me know.
I mean, the most, on Plan B for a family plan, we're going up $7 a pay, which, that's not horrible for the benefits we're getting out of it.
And considering it's the total increase over the last 3 years.
Correct, right. So I would entertain the 5% increase, and that's kind of where I land on that, just for the cost factor on that.
I struggled with this because I don't ever like to put any additional burden on our employees, but like Aaron said, we've done everything we could since I've been commissioner my first term. We haven't raised premiums at all.
Exactly.
We've given holidays because our balances were high in that account. But I think based on the cost that we've had, we have no choice at this point. I'd rather do a smaller increment increase now than not do anything this year, and then we have to hit them with a lot bigger one next year. I mean, it's going to just continue to go up. I don't see this getting any cheaper.
It always has.
So I would lean more towards the 5%, so we're not hitting them with a 10 or 15% all at once.
I think we're all in alignment there. So is there a motion for the 5% increase?
Your motion, excuse me, for
Plan
minutes.
A and B.
Yes, thank you.
Correct.
So move for the 5% increase for Plan A and B.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I agree 100% that, 5%. And I think it's reasonable at this point after years of no increases. And as Brad pointed out, the last 2 years, 2 of the last 3 years, we were able to have 1 month premium holiday for employees. So
And if we want to continue that, this could help that.
absolutely. All right, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next,
And just because we have council here also, just a reminder on our dental, it's a fully insured dental plan that is 100% employee funded, so there is no general funds used for this program. And we are looking for, our offer is to go with a 1-year renewal with Delta Dental or 2-year renewal. If we go with the 2-year renewal, which is the recommendation from our TPA, Kathy Dunn, to do the 2-year and get it locked in, the employees would be looking at employee only at $2.60 a pay increase, and the family would be up to $9.95. And that would lock that in for 2 years, and that is my recommendation to commissioners, and I don't have the paperwork to sign yet. We needed confirmation on a 1 or a 2-year renewal.
so with a 2-year renewal, that increase would go into effect in January, but it would be for 2 years. There would be no increase for 2028, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
I would make the motion to do the 2-year Delta Dental, increase that with the increase that they asked for.
We have a motion and a second to approve a 2-year renewal with Delta Dental. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Anything else, Kim?
No.
All right. Thank you. Cambridge City Library Board, the commissioners have an appointment to the Cambridge City Library Board. The request from the director is that we would appoint Stacy Birch, who's a retired teacher in Western Wayne Schools, to a term on the Western Wayne Library Board. Questions, comments?
Move for approval to appoint.
Do you know what the term length is by chance?
I think it's 3 years.
That's right. I think the library, it is 3, isn't it?
I think it is, yes.
Yeah, second, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you and congratulations, Stacy Birch. I think that's it for the moment for us. No?
We have claims.
Matthew.
Matthew?
Yeah, Matthew's up next on the agenda. Matthew?
Well, he's still upright, so that's a good sign.
Still awake.
If I nod off, just somebody wake me up. It's fine. It's fine. Good evening. Just very quickly wanted to give a little bit of an overview of kind of where we're at with things going on throughout the county this last week. It has been now a week since we declared a disaster declaration for Wayne County. So we've been we're now mostly in recovery mode. The response mode is almost complete. Still some response activities going on in Williamsburg currently, but for the most part, we are in full recovery mode. Throughout this process already, we've seen resilient communities like we've never seen before, and our hearts break for them. Some of these families have lost their entire homes, the entire contents of their homes, heirlooms that were in their basement, and when you talk to them one-on-one, as I did Sunday at the town hall meeting, it breaks your heart. And we all feel bad that there's not more that we can do. and we all want to do things quicker than the way we have to do them in order to work with FEMA and stay within their guidelines. So a lot of what we have done this past week is try to manage expectations. And so that's a part of emergency management that they sometimes teach but they don't talk about, is managing the expectations. So that's a little bit overview. Shelter operations are continuing at the Coleman Center as we are here tonight. I appreciate commissioners for allowing us to utilize that building for that process. It's been one less thing we have had to worry about. Red Cross has taken that over and done an amazing job, and we thank them for their partnership. We have started talks and conversations about moving those operations if we need to. Their numbers at the shelter do continue to decrease currently, and we've also merged some people that are using the shelter with those affected in Connorsville, and it's serving that for both. So we're in the process of working through some logistics and moving that shelter operations. We're working with, we've reached out to all of our incorporated entities, township trustees, public school systems, department heads within the county and the city, making sure that they are tracking any expenses, overtime, equipment use, anything, contracts, and things of that nature that go towards this disaster. There is absolutely no guarantee that FEMA will come forward. It all depends on us trying to capture every penny that we possibly can and justifying our expenses and attempts to try to get some reimbursement. So I will keep you apprised on that process. That is not a fast process, but we've already asked for some best guess numbers by Thursday evening, tomorrow evening, so we can submit those to the state Friday morning, knowing that they are best guess estimates. In some cases, we don't know yet. So we're doing the best we can. We, volunteer management is coming together, partnering with the international group, International Disaster Emergency Services. They are on the grounds in Cambridge City. All because they're located in Cambridge City doesn't mean that that's where their resources are dedicated to. That is a county-wide resource, county-wide tasks, and they're going to be going out to other communities and throughout the county. Donation management going on at the Cambridge City Christian Church. They have done an amazing job there. If you get a chance to shake the hand of Pastor Danny Berry, you need to. It's nothing short of a miracle in and of itself, what they're doing for their community at that church. And it's a great example of them coming together. They're in essence operating as a distribution center for everyone throughout the county. They asked for a couple U-Haul trucks. We got them a couple U-Haul trucks, and now they're doing deliveries to the other communities. And so I know when Williamsburg needed some extra supplies, they loaded up the truck and they headed to Williamsburg. And so it's been amazing. Happy to report that FEMA is in town. I spent the last 2.5 hours with a FEMA representative this afternoon, driving through the different affected communities. She was one of the ones that flew over yesterday as they were doing aerial assessments, and then was boots on the ground today. So had a representative from Indiana Department of Homeland Security and myself, along with the FEMA representative, started in Cambridge City, went to Milton, went to Hagerstown, went to Williamsburg, hit a couple areas in the county. In between some of those spots, went over to Dublin, hit a area outside of Centerville. So we made the rounds, and they're just doing quick assessments to see if our preliminary numbers that we're turning in match what she is seeing. And so I I have no indication of what she feels or what she thinks is going to be the verdict. She didn't indicate one way or another, but we shared our stories with her and the areas hardest hit. Debris management is going as well as debris management can. There's been some confusion, there's been some frustration, but I believe every community now has some way to help get rid of that debris. Cambridge City just got theirs fully up and operational today. They've had some questions about that, trying to make the process a little easier. FEMA guidelines is making sure that we're separating it out into the 5 categories for tracking purposes, because that is one question FEMA asks is how much debris was construction? How much was electronics? How much was appliance? And so we have to try to get a grasp of that as much as we can. So each community has kind of handled it their own way and handled it their own contracts. The county has partnered with Best Way due to our existing relationship with the transfer station outside of Hagerstown. And they've been absolutely wonderful to work with, even offering to help separate and make sure that the debris is separated into the different categories, and that's been a huge help. And then we've also put in containers at Williamsburg. They were a community where a lot of their basements and the things that they had in their basements were ruined. And so we do have a couple dumpsters in the Williamsburg area.
Matthew, do you happen to know if any of the debris collected is going to be recycled?
Is recycled?
Recycled, like the appliances, for example, if they're metal, will those be recycled as opposed to?
I don't think so, but
Okay.
not my area of expertise. I guess once they haul them off, I'm not sure what they do with them. So I'm not sure.
Okay. One of the issues that came up was what pot of money can we pay for the debris removal out of, and if it's recyclable material, we may be able to pay for it out of recycling funds that we have available. So I may follow up with them. And
I'm going to say
find out.
doubtful, but I'd be happy to ask.
Yes, that would be my guess. But yeah, if we can find out, it's not urgent, but
If you want me to, Matthew, I can call Niles and take that off your plate.
Well, I would gladly let you.
I'll do that.
I put a check mark by it, so it's done already, so thank you. Because of all of our actions and because we're very early in this process, when the commissioner signed the disaster declaration last week and designated the county under that emergency declaration, the way ours is written is it's only good for 7 days and it has to be revisited every 7 days. Coming to you this evening to ask you to consider extending that disaster declaration. By doing that, it allows us to open up some options when it comes to emergency procurement and things like that. While I do think the majority of those actions have already taken place these first 7 days, I would love a little extra cushion if you would be so kind, because we just don't know what we don't know. And every day that I come into work, I'm faced with something that it was not on my radar. So just to ease things, I think for all of us, if we could extend that another 7 days until we possibly can get together next week, it would be greatly appreciated.
do we have a motion to approve extension of the disaster declaration for another 7 days?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're extended for 7 days.
Thank you very
Just
much.
for my own edification, because I don't know, what is the significance, if any, or the interrelationship with the fact that the governor has declared a disaster emergency of various areas of the state that include Wayne County, and the fact that the commissioners are doing it? I know there's a statute that the commissioners do it, but are there any practical implications and differences from your perspective?
Part of it is we are not eligible for FEMA funds if the county does not go under a disaster declaration individually. So that's one of the steps that's probably the most important.
That answers the question.
Okay, perfect, yeah. It's just how they told us to do it, Ron.
It's in the book, right?
It's in the book. And lastly, I did want you to know it was brought to our attention this morning, some great ideas about having a one-stop shop website page on the county's page for resources. I think we've done an excellent job of social media and sharing the same message from the church, from the town of Cambridge, from EMA, from health department. But it was a great idea if we could have a website. And so we tasked that with the IT department this morning, and it's already up and operational. It's not pretty, and I told them it didn't need to be just down and dirty. Let's get some links up. And so there is a link. If you go to the Wayne County website now, there's in part of the banner at the top, there is a link that takes you to an emergency resource page where a lot of that information for local resources is there, and then it also links you to the state's resource hub where there's some state information and applications for the State Disaster Relief Fund and links to 211 and all those things. So that is up and operational, and it will become pretty in a few days.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew, we want to thank you
Yeah. Thank you.
Can't thank you enough.
and your staff for all that you've done.
Thank you very much. It means a lot. Yep, sure does.
Matthew,
Thank
I
you,
think
ma'am.
it's been a tremendous learning curve on your part to come up with these answers to a lot of questions. And your staff, so you be commended.
Thank you. Our job's not done. As I told Cambridge on Sunday, it's going to be a long road, but we're here for the long haul. We're not going anywhere.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
And we have claims. Aaron?
I have the following claims. General claims paid 8/19/2026. Galcasa paid 8/19/2026. Advance draw paid 8/17/2026. MasterCard paid 8/17/2026. Lit paid 8/14/2026. Payroll, August 21st, 2026. Federal payroll taxes and retirement, August 21st, 2026. Garnishment and Dunflex, August 21st, 2026. I'll make a motion to approve those claims.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve claims. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Right,
Back to us.
back to you.
Okay, Mike, sure. Give us a quick update on all the activities of the highway department.
Good evening. So my guys have worked really hard. I just would like to appreciate them of all the hard work they did. I knew when it first hit and trying to gather all the information, the girls in the office taking the phone calls and the blunt of the reaction from the people out in the county, and they get a hard hit. So I personally would like to thank them. When we started this, I think we ended up with about 5 pages that they written down of problems in the area and things to do. We're still adding to that list. We're taking off that list. The guys are working hard to get through all that. Currently, we have 2 roads that are closed because of the bridge structure. So we have Center Road and Waterfall Road are both closed. They started working on Center Road today. My hope is, and I think as long as the weather cooperates and everything, we don't run into major issues. Center Road should be open by the weekend or before the weekend. Waterfall, we'll probably start working on that next week. It's kind of more of an intenser type of project. So what we were trying to do, we know there's problems out in the area, and like people to know that there is problems out in the county that we're probably aware of. If you see a problem, to just let us know. But We're trying to get to the worst areas first. We're not saying just because it's a main road or a dead end. We're trying to get to the roads that have the worst problems and trying to get those taken care of. There are 2 roads that are still closed due to high water. Cheeseman Road, west of State Road 1, and then the dead end of Cambridge Road there, north of Goose Haven. I checked them this morning or whatever, and they're still closed due to high waters on them. I think they're able to get in and out of the Cambridge Road if you have a certain type of vehicle and so forth, and I think Matthews provided support, or other people provided support for them, but we're still waiting on the water issues for them. But the roads are still intact and going. So right now we're working on tree cleanup. I talked to somebody tonight asking about trees and so forth. So right now we're trying to get the trees cleaned up out of the waterways, around the bridges, culvert pipes, things like that are blocking water, so future rains would come. It's got a place to go. We know we have trees alongside the roads, and we're working on them and have crews for them. And then we're just trying to work on the berms and the bridges and the other areas that are out. But kind of preliminary numbers that I'm looking at for Matthew and so forth, we're looking at about $1,042,000. Now, some of that's going to be into equipment, so we can count the equipment towards FEMA and so forth, and put a price on that. You can only count your labor hours if it's overtime hours. So that's not. So when you figure your equipment or whatever, just repairing the roads and damages and so forth, I'm guessing we're maybe a quarter of the way through this project. So we got about 3/4 to go. But the equipment to fix the berms and things like that is around $400,000. So that's an equipment number that comes off that $1,042,000. The tree cleanup, that's just basically, we've got a pit that we're putting the trees in, we're burning those. So, I mean, that's just the equipment to kind of pick that up, but that's like $62,000. Culvert replacements, so we had some culverts. We were able to do some repairs on some of them, but we got about $100,000 worth of culverts that we're gonna have to purchase. They're not the smaller 12-inch culverts. These are the big culverts, and I know some people said it was a 100-year rain, but I possibly think it may have been a 1,000-year rain, I hope. Because it seems like we've had a lot of 100-year rains here lately and in the last few years. But these are some bigger culverts that we're going to have to order and get placed in. We've got the roads temporarily open per se, and they're safe to travel, but there is some work to do on those. But we got about $100,000 we're going to have to purchase on that. And then with the material to purchase for projects, so we got some asphalt we're going to have to purchase. There's some roads that kind of washed out. We're going to have to do some paving on them. We got some of them repaired back in gravel. Some of it we don't have in gravel, but it just took the layer of asphalt off the road actually. But between the asphalt, putting the riprap in, some of the riprap, smaller riprap that we buy, and then like the 53 gravel, and then the concrete to do some of the bridge repairs or those culvert repairs. Some of that's going to be about $320,000 on that end of it. And then material that we use but we're not actually purchasing would be like concrete. So I'm kind of a hoarder, so I'll pick up concrete, and I've got concrete kind of all around the county that we've gotten for free, but we can reuse that. I think through the FEMA project we can charge that out as a use for that. So dirt that we collected, I've got piled throughout the county, so we're able to use that dirt also, so we don't have to purchase that dirt. And then millings that we've gotten from different areas and projects, but that's about $160,000. So from the $1,042,000, real cost is about $420,000 is what we're going to have to kind of come up with to kind of do the repairs and things on this.
Okay. Thank you. Questions for Mike?
I have one, because you all know I always have questions. Just because I'm curious, when there's a huge tree that goes across the creek or the river or whatever, do you guys have to get that out if it's going to back up the river or the creek?
Depends where it's located at. So if we can reach it, like if it's on the inlet side of the bridge, and it's going to come down in the bridge, if we can reach it, we try to reach them. If it's 100 yards down the river, we're not going to go down the river to get that. If it's on the downside of the bridge, that's good because it's not gonna plug up the bridge and it'll get the next bridge, but hopefully it'll take a while before it gets there.
There was
Hopefully
one
it's
on-
a state bridge before it's
There
our
was one
bridge.
on Beeler Road. There was one on Beeler Road actually sticking over, and I told my husband, I said, maybe we should stop and cut that end off, but you guys took care of it the next day, but the rest of the tree is still there. But I didn't know whose responsibility is it to get that stuff
So if
out?
we can reach it, we're gonna pick those up, and try to get those. Beeler Road, I know he's kind of working his way around the county and he hasn't gotten over that part, so I'm sure
Oh,
that's,
no, he cut the arm off, so now some.
well, but to get the traffic through, but there may be more pickup to do. So some of it, we're just cutting to get the traffic open, so get some flow going, but then there may be more work later. After we kind of get most of, or a lot of these projects done, then I'll be sending the guys back out in their snow routes to rerun them to see, okay, did we miss this? Did somebody not write this down? You know, there's mistakes made. So we'll be rerunning the routes again, checking things, looking for problems. Some of the times when we were running the routes, there was so much water going through that we couldn't see any problems, or you didn't know what the problems was, what the plugs are. The grass is tall, so, you know, even after we think we're all done, this fall, we may find some problems that happened during the storm that we're gonna come across and that we'll have to be
Do
repairing.
we, and this is probably more a Brandon question, do we do the bridges that are 20 feet and less when it's close to, we'll just say Cambridge or whoever, or is that municipalities? This was a
That's
legislative
municipalities.
question the other day, and I wasn't sure.
Yes, if it's within the municipal limits, then it would be their responsibility if
They're
it's less than
supposed to do
20
it.
feet.
Okay,
But as far as county, it's our responsibility as a small structure.
all righty, thank you very much.
Mike, I know this isn't your responsibility, but maybe you can fill us in with your communication with the state on State Road 38.
I've not driven up it.
Now?
I've not driven right up to it. I've seen it from a distance. That is at a bridge. I don't know if it actually took the bridge out or if it's kind of like one of our center roads, our bridge is intact, but it took out from the head wall on one side of the bridge is all gone. That's a pretty large span on 38. I don't know if
I've
you've
got
been up
pictures
to
of
it.
It's pretty big. I mean, it's,
It's pretty big, and I didn't see. I was up there by there today, and I didn't see anybody working on it. So
I don't know if you've talked to the state of when they.
I've not talked to them. I know they got a lot of projects going. On Wednesday, I know Wayne County was hit hard enough that there was no state road that you could go west through Wayne County, and that made it very difficult because all that traffic then transferred onto the county roads, and we got a lot of traffic on the county roads, city roads, and things like that caused some other damages too. So
That particular bridge, our county ditch goes through that. One of our ditches goes through that. So they had to coordinate with the surveyor's office before they put that back in. And they have let that for bids, and they were supposed to get those bids today. They are going to fix it with a much smaller tube through there. I think it had a box culvert, I think, to go through it, and they're going to fix it with smaller tubes that will not have the capacity, but they want to temporarily fix it to get the road back open. And so I would, based upon their email that we received from the state, I would think you would see some construction there before the week's out.
Well, I know it impacts our citizens' travel, so that's why I asked about it.
well, because now 35 is still closed and 38's closed and 70's back open, but yeah, it is very difficult. And we're seeing a lot more traffic on the county roads because of all these projects.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mike?
Again, we want to thank you and your staff.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Please convey that to your.
Thank your
Just
staff
don't go
for
out
us.
and buy more road closed signs.
Oh, I won't comment.
Come on, Mike.
Okay. Brent Meadows has sat through 2 meetings so far. We're now ready for him. Beth, you
Hey,
go
Need to take a break for a minute? I mean, no, seriously, I'll be.
No, that's
No, we're good.
So just for those that are watching, everybody has made their presentation on their requested budget items, except for Brent, who was scheduled to do that at our last meeting, and we ran out of time. Our schedule did not permit. Sorry about that, Brent. Glad you're here tonight.
No problem.
We're looking forward to hearing what you've got to tell us.
Well, thank you for having me. I don't see very well. I got these big screens up. Thank you. But really for 2027 on the standard budget, in other words, the budget that we were asked to submit, the only line item that really went up was the autopsy line. There seems to be a lot of interest with the number of autopsies that we have been doing. We currently do all our autopsies at Dayton, Montgomery County, which is a superb organization which is equipped with all forensic pathologists, not just standard pathologists. And the current cost is $1,500 an autopsy. Because we paid some bills late in '25 and some carried over till '26, but we took the money out of our budget to cover the rest of '25, we've always run short. And that is now being, we catch it up. The bill right now, I think we're out of autopsy money based on our current budget of $90-some thousand, but the bills are being submitted directly to the commissioners, Bobby and the commissioners, and they're being paid. So based on our data, we wanted to portray what we think we actually are going to use in 2027, and we're going to be at about 165,000, and we are on track to do about the same amount that we did in '26. That's about where we're at now money-wise. And so we would like the budget, if you wish that, to reflect what autopsies were, the money we're actually spending on autopsies.
Can I ask Brent a question for the people watching? Could you explain what are the parameters or the requirements or whatever, that why you do an autopsy? What are the...
Yes, I will be glad to.
Please.
The coroner's office has licensed medical death investigators. Everybody has to be licensed. And we are charged with cause and manner of death. And so I will give you some examples. Let's say that everything said, let's say we have a 50-year-old male who has no medical history whatsoever, but he doesn't wake up the next morning. Family does CPR. We're unable to resuscitate him. We have no idea why he died. We know that he died of cardiac arrest, but we don't know why. What was the reason? So that's an example of where we have to have an autopsy so that we can find out if it was medical, and if it was medical, what is it? Another good example is a gunshot wound to the head that we did not know whether it was foul play or self-inflicted. And based on the information that we got from the police department and the witnesses that were there and all the information that we were able to gather, we were unsure if foul play was involved or if it was self-inflicted. And we needed the forensic pathologist to do an autopsy to help us out and rule it as a suicide versus something else, a homicide. We're taught that everything is a homicide until proven otherwise. But as a rule of thumb, contrary to what maybe the community thinks, we don't do an autopsy unless we have to, unless we really believe it's important. And that is for things that are accidental, we have to do autopsies. For overdoses, we are doing autopsies because the prosecutor's office is trying to put together cases that allow us to go after the drug dealer so that they can be arrested for dealing in drugs that cause a death.
Can you tell us, when does a family pay for that versus the county pays for it?
The county always pays for the autopsy. It's the county's decision, and that falls strictly on the coroner. Now, we as a group talk about everything. We have investigators, and when we have an investigator on the scene or they're not sure, they have questions, they call either myself or the chief deputy coroner, and we talk about the circumstances of the call. And then we base our decision off of that. And we were asked, and I think the list is almost done, of some of the things that we follow, kind of like the state guidelines of when we do an autopsy and why. I know it doesn't always make sense to some people, but there are other people that probably understand that it does.
So even in your scenario of the 50-year-old that had no health problems didn't wake up, and the family said, we really want to know what happened, they still don't pay for that, we do, is what you're
Yes,
saying?
and I should tell you, most of the families don't. It's such a stressful time, they don't usually say, hey, we want an autopsy. We let them know if we're going to do an autopsy or not. Now, if we're not going to do an autopsy, if we have someone that's 83 and has a long history of medical records and atherosclerotic heart disease and kidney failure and COPD and things like that, we will most likely not do an autopsy. But if the family says, I want an autopsy, and we, as the coroner's office, go, well, we're not going to do an autopsy based on what we see. If you want an autopsy, then here is the information we'll give to you, and then they can ask for an autopsy. It's their right, and they must pay for it themselves.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the money you're asked for the autopsies, is that the same as what you project this year will be, or is that?
Yes, that's what we project, that we'll use close to that in 2026, and we just want the budget to reflect what we're actually close to using in 2027. That's really the only change we had, I think, major change we had in our budget. We left everything else the same because we were asked not to do anything with salary or not to list anything with special equipment.
So is that all the comments you have right now on?
That's all the comments I have on the budget. I have a couple other things, and I don't know if now's the time, but
Let's see if anybody's got any questions on what you covered thus far.
Well, Brent, I think where I'm still struggling, and I really appreciate the data report that Dylan put together to see past data. I mean, it's what Commissioner Plaster and I had said in our last meeting. I mean, this is a philosophical issue, right? I mean, I would struggle with taking money out of taxpayers' pockets to pay for an autopsy just to give you, it's giving you more of a peace of mind and answer, because some families aren't asking for it. You're making that decision. And so then when we hear that y'all want pay raises, that makes it difficult too when you're identifying that autopsies are more important. So it's kind of like, okay, if that's the important piece for you, then there's other things that I would say no to. And I'm just one person.
Yeah.
But that's the heart. I mean, we've talked about it, right, philosophically.
Yeah, we've talked about this question.
And I appreciate it so much. Appreciate you letting me share my opinion and us hearing yours. But philosophically, that's just kind of where I'm at. Like, you're asking people to take their tax money to pay for something to give you and your staff really more peace of mind than anybody else.
I would not use the word peace of mind.
Okay.
It's something that we must do to truly help us decide the cause and manner of death, which we are charged to do, and that's why we do an autopsy, so that it plays into the cause and the manner. We have to figure out what the cause is, and we have to figure out what the manner is, and sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not. The other thing is, unfortunately, and that it's a requirement that the counties must pay for the autopsies.
Right. I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
Believe me, I would like there to be no autopsy so my staff could get more money, but the one thing that I've tried to stay away from, so I'll try to say this with caution, is I am not going to say anything on purpose to reflect the job that may or may not have been done of previous coroners and their administration. I am charged, and my staff, with doing the job that we are supposed to do. We really have three things that are very important to us. Number one is taking care of the decedent. That's the utmost important. Number two is taking care of the family. And number three is taking care of the county. Because if we don't do our job and we don't cover all our bases, it could cost the county a lot of money down the road. And if somebody's cremated and something comes up that, no, there was a gunshot wound, or someone was poisoned, or this or that, and we didn't do our due diligence in cause and manner, it could cost us a lot more money than $1,500. It could be hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I guess I want you to just, again, this is Misty's, this is me. You know, when new equipment's needed, when new vehicles are requested, when raises happen, to have to, and especially knowing after our 100-year flood, other expenses that we weren't anticipating we have to use. I just need you to know that lens I'm looking through, out of respect to you.
I appreciate that, but we are totally operating as we should under the guidelines of cause and manner, and I wish we didn't have autopsies. I wish it was really simple, but it's not. We have people that are 20 years old and dying, and 30 years old and dying, and in many of those cases, it requires an autopsy so that we can get all the information we need to get in order to come up with the proper cause and manner of death.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thanks for letting me share.
No, you're welcome. You're my liaison. I have to do that. Happy to do that.
So Brent, what percent of the cases that you handle have or end up having an autopsy?
I'm sorry,
What
what
percent of the cases that you have end up having an autopsy?
I think we just crossed the line of 50 here in the last week. In the last 2 weeks, I believe we've done a minimum of 3 autopsies. A gunshot wound, an undetermined young individual, and someone in their 60s that we thought looked pretty cut and dry, and then the police and the coroner's office got a lot of information that there might be foul play based on history in the CAD and other things that have happened that the police can gather and that we can gather about people, and we had to do an autopsy.
So the 50% is for the year, not just this week?
Yeah, well, I think we just crossed the 50 people.
Well, I asked percent.
50 autopsy.
I asked percent.
Okay, I would say that it is, because we're a little over 200 right now, so 50, we're at 25 to probably 25 to 30%.
They were 26% in 2025, compared to 2024, it was 23%.
Okay.
Compared to the death. And on where they're tracking right now, he's right, it's going to be about 25%.
So, Brent, the budget sheet, it says 163,000. Did you say you need 165?
Well, I can't see it, but it was in the 160s, and I didn't have my sheet with me, so yeah, I just saved you $2,000 right there.
So out of the amount, Brent, of that 163,000, or what we're spending so far, did we have $5,000 we had to pay for a death at the state prison? So were there 2 of those or just one?
There were 2, I believe.
So out of what we've spent
3 total, that's right.
for 2026 already?
3 totals?
3 from the state.
This year, yeah, 3
Yes, for
this year.
2026? So really 15,000 of that.
Some of those were in
Control
2025,
we
weren't they, Jeff, I believe?
That's a state statute. It needs to
I
be
think it was
revisited by the state
2025, we just didn't get it paid.
Yeah, we didn't get it paid. One of them, I think, might have been 2024, but we just got the bill.
Exactly.
And because we only had a budget of 95,000 and we didn't change that last year, because some of the 2024 bills at the end didn't get paid till 2025, they took that money out of the 25 budget. And some of the bills that weren't paid in 2025 they took out of the 26 budget. So that's why we're behind and we're out of money. And we truly believe that in the $160,000 range, we're right on track to have similar numbers as we did last year. Now, the data could change, but thank God nobody passed away because of the flood or anything like that. But we're right on track to probably have the same numbers of decedents in 2026.
Other questions? You said you had a couple other things?
Yeah, so I did many of the council asked me to put some numbers together about the amount of hours that we're putting in. And so we did that, and we submitted that to Barry, and I believe we sent that to both the council and the commissioners. And shows you the number of hours that the chief deputy put in, the coroner put in, and the investigators put in.
Is that the one that you forwarded to us?
Yeah, Barry forwarded it.
Forwarded it.
And Barry got it first because he was kind of the one that said, you know, if you guys are looking for a salary increase, we need to see some numbers. So we put this together and we sent it out to everybody. And then we didn't get to it at the last meeting because we ran over.
So was that hours actually on the job or
Yeah.
hours on call?
It was both. If the group would please me, I'll make a couple of comments on it. I just have to pull my sheet out. So we started off with a list of things that all of the investigators, we're all investigators, have to do to perform our job in the coroner's office. And it looks like there's about 30 things there. It's fairly long. And then I didn't mention names, but I took the 5 investigators that we had and showed you the number of hours of on-call they were in 2025. And then I showed you, if it was for 12 months, we had one person that was only working for 9 months, but it's the number of on-call shifts that they had. And that was just to be on call. That doesn't count whether they went out for a scene call. I can tell you that just in the last 3 days, I started at 10 o'clock at night and got home at 4 a.m. and was back out at 7 and got home at 9:30. And we had to take bodies to Dayton, and we had investigations to do, and that was for 3 cases that went on. So it breaks down the number of on-call shifts and how many hours that is. Like investigator 1 was 117 shifts times 12 hours, or 1,404 hours that they were on call. It did not include the amount of times that they had to go out and do a scene call. It did not include the hours it took to write a report, to do an investigation. It didn't count any of that. It's just the hours that they can't be in another county and they can't be doing other stuff. They're on call and their first priority is the coroner's office. So they put in a lot of hours. They put a lot of hours in for $11,600. And then we showed that get the right sheet here.
That report was sent to council on August the 3rd.
And we sent it to the commissioners too. I think they got it. In 2025, I also took 99 12-hour shifts. I'm not telling you that because it's me. I'm just giving you an example, which was 1,188 hours of mandatory availability. Took 165 shifts of 12 hours as supervisor on call. Either myself or the chief deputy is on call for the week. I do an average of 24 hours a week, what we call office time. Office time can be either in the physical office here or in our office at home. It's pending, because we can do some work at our own personal offices. And then the chief deputy, the number of shifts he put in of being mandatory on call, and then the number of shifts he was on supervisor on call, and some of those overlap, okay? Some of those, he may be the investigator that day, but he's also the supervisor, and 16 hours a week in the office. So I hope I did what I was asked to do, and I was going to tell you the same thing that I always tell you. My investigators need more money. They really do. They do a great job. And none of them do it to get rich. They do it because they like the job. And the amount of time and the extra education and the training we take and the hours we have to have for training to stay up and stay current are very important. And I would really like to see them, I'm just going to tell you, I'd like to see them get $15,000 a year. I know that we have floods and we have everything else, and I'm trying to get the coroner's office to where it needs to be. I have no blame on anybody for what happened in the past, or maybe nothing happened in the past, but I believe in all essence the things that I'm asking for just bring us up to where we need to be. And I'm not even going to ask you what you think the chief deputy should make or what you think the coroner should make. I will make one statement. It's not a part-time job for the coroner. There is no way it's physically a part-time job for the coroner. I basically have 2 full-time jobs because I'm still working as a paramedic. But I cannot afford to give up my job as a paramedic to do the full-time hours I'm doing now without getting pay that seems to balance out with the amount of work that I do. And again, I offer any of you are allowed to come out and ride anytime you want, day or night, snow, rain, whatever. We'd love to have you. So I'm really advocating for my investigators. I'm advocating for my chief deputy. There's a lot of paperwork involved. And I will leave it up to you on what you think your coroner's worth and whether he's working full-time or part-time. Is that fair enough? Okay. The last thing is that we put in for some equipment, some one-time equipment purchases. And I'm going to start with, you were gracious enough to recognize the need for our power cot lifts, because we had 2 power cots. And people are not getting skinnier. They're really, literally, we have 300 and 400 patients all the time. The 2 cots that the previous coroner bought, he bought it, I don't want to say a yard sale, but they were salvage cots. He bought them for a couple $1,000s. These cots aren't cheap. And we have been using them, and we've been keeping them together as best we can. Well, we're having a hard time keeping together anymore, and Laerdal will not warranty these cots anymore. So if somebody gets hurt, pinched, the cot collapses, causes physical injury to the decedent's body, causes injury to any of our employees, this could get expensive. So I went out and I got a quote for 2 new power cots. It's $66,484. As always, there is the possibility of getting 2 refurbished power cots that carry the full warranty. And that's $50,484. So roughly $16,000 in savings. The only downside is that these cots don't get traded in very often. So we might have to wait 6 months or a year to get 2 refurbished cots versus 2 new cots. Our lift system is the same for both, so we don't have to ask for additional money for a different lift system. We're just asking for the 2 power cots that are under warranty that can be used safely and efficiently. That.
Could I
Yeah,
ask you,
yes,
what's
ma'am.
the difference in the warranty, the new versus the refurbished?
They warranty the refurbs. You tell me it's the same,
Oh,
but a refurb cot is basically a cot that they make new again. They put all new parts on it or whatever it needs.
so is it for the length of time you have it? Because there's not like mileage on it, but,
Well, there's models that change, every so often, like everything else, there's a different model, or the cot will hold more weight. The current cots are 700 pounds, unless we were to get a bariatric cot, and we don't really need one of those. If they're that big, we have other issues, we have help with the fire department, but I would be okay with two refurbished cots that carried a warranty, but I don't know if they'll be available. But I wanted to bring that to you to tell you we'd be more than willing to save $16,000 if we could get two refurbished cots under warranty, but I do not know if they'll be available.
do the manufacturers have a list? Do they put you on the list when it comes
They
available?
can put you
or
on a
something?
list, yes. It's kind of by the list. It's not first come, if you're on the list to get one. But I certainly would be okay with saving $16,000 and getting two refurbished cots.
Can we not refurbish the ones we have?
No, they're a very old model. They've been upgraded more than once since then.
What's the weight limit on the ones we currently have?
700.
Oh, okay, so it's the same as.
Batteries are, the battery system's a little different. But the main thing is that Laerdal won't support the lifting mechanism anymore, the hydraulic system anymore, any of that. And again, if they were to collapse and do bodily physical injury to a body, a decedent, that could be a liability. But the main reason ambulance services use these cots are it reduces workers' comp claims by a lot. Because I'm telling you, I could not lift them on the old aluminum cot or anything like that. They're just, people are too heavy. And we send out one person, but many times we have two people that go. I always go if I'm available, whether it's something big or it's something small. And then, the fire department helps us or the police department helps us, but I feel very strongly about needing these cots.
And one other thing while I'm on the subject, and I can't remember if I remember this correctly, Jeff, but didn't we have a problem one year with plugging in something that was in one of your vehicles when we had a lot of snow and ice? And
We did, and the county was very nice. We come up with, 3 commissioners come up with, we're across the street now where we plug them in. We have 2 heavy-duty plug-in stations. We put heaters in the back. We put everything we need in the back.
And that was for the cots, right?
For the cots, keeps the cots warm during the winter because everything's plugged in, keeps the equipment in the back functional, yes.
Do the new ones have that same issue? You have to be plugged in, or do they have like a battery that's?
Well, we have batteries on all, but they all have to be plugged in.
Oh.
They all have to be
Kathy, I
plugged in.
suggest you go for a ride-along.
Yeah.
That's the way you.
Good idea.
I just want to make sure I'm asking the right question.
For extra money, we'll put you in the back. and let you
That's
ride along.
okay. I'm good.
So, again, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not asking for this because I think it's cool. I'm asking for this because, especially the commissioners that are here now, you wanted the coroner's office better for the decedents, better for the community, and that's what we're trying to do. And unfortunately, there's money involved to get us the things that we need. So I thank you for your consideration on the cots. The last thing that I have, and thank you for allowing me to take time, since we ran out the other day. And Steve has been nice enough not to yell at me, but we again put in for a new vehicle.
What?
I know,
Are you
I know.
serious?
You're right, I did. You know why? Because autopsies were so high, I thought we should just go for it. No, we put in for a new vehicle off of the state bid. Now, I was honest enough, I went and met with Steve, and I think everybody got a copy of it. We sent it out to everybody, and it's an astounding number.
Yep.
It's $110,000. The truck is 66-some thousand dollars. I can't explain this, maybe the commissioners can, because they've done state bids before, but if I wanted a Ford F-250, it's only $400 less than a Ford F-350. And a Ford F-350 has a better suspension to carry the bodies than the Ford F-250 does. So if any of you brought that along, I'm just going to take a minute and go through it, if you would allow me to.
You don't need to, because I didn't get it.
Well, it went out to everybody. It went out to the commissioners, and I went out to the council. I'm sorry if you didn't get it, Gary. I have a copy here, and I can give it to you. I can give you my copy when we're done. Is that okay?
Be fine.
Okay, or I'll be more than happy to go back to the office and send you one again. I sent a letter along with the process. There was a big, long letter that went along and explained each one of these sections in the bid. The truck was $66,767. A Ford F-150 will not work. It's not heavy enough. It's not big enough to hold all the equipment. The one thing that was different in this bid, and it's optional, and I want you guys to understand it's optional, is we felt like we needed a lift system on the truck. When we're in our F-250 and we're on uneven ground, or we're at a curve, or we're up high, or we're down low, there's many times we can't get the cot out fully deployed without some jerking and moving and twisting. Because the pickup truck's set a little bit higher. And the lift system is a system that will allow us, much like the ambulances, when our doors open, we can lower our truck. We can lower our truck, which makes it easier to load patients. I'm not going to lie to you, that's $12,511. Then we had, on section 3, we had the truck cap. The person that bid the truck cap went a little crazy. More than we needed. We do need a truck cap that'll carry equipment. The one we have now is just a cap. The new one we want, when we open up, we can open up the side panels of the cap and store equipment in there. So there's equipment room to do that. And that takes some of our equipment off the floor, because right now we have to stack everything on the floor. And this one had a rack, and I talked to Steve. We can do much better than the $10,500 that they wanted for the rack, but they assumed we wanted the best of the best. We do not have to spend $10,000 on a rack or on a cap. We do need a cap, and we do need one that'll carry our equipment, but it will not be at that cost. And I don't know, Steve, if you've had a chance to look, but we both agreed that was a lot of money. And then the rest is for putting our heat in the back, our electrical hookups. We need a console in the front to put our radios and stuff, our lighting controls and our things like that, and all of electrical power stuff. And it's why it come to $110,000. What I'm asking is to understand that we need to get out of the old van. I think it's 12, our van is 2012. It's not a safe van to drive when we have bodies anymore, especially ones that may have been down for days or weeks at a time, because you can smell everything. And the van has served us well. We need a backup camera put in it, and it's starting to nickel and dime us. And we really need to add a second truck to our fleet, which is going to be where I believe we need to be with vehicles. Yesterday, we took 2 bodies over, and you had to use 2 vehicles to do it. Somebody asked, well, can you put 2 bodies in 1 vehicle? We can't. I believe it's disrespectful. It would be disrespectful to put 2 bodies on the floor of a pickup truck. Each one goes in a cot, so we had to use both of our vehicles for that. And there were 2 calls at the same time to 2 different places. So I do understand that the total bid's 110,000, but I believe we can shave some money off of that. Again, it scared me to death to see it because I know what everybody's thinking. I thought the same thing. But I truly believe that if we can get our second transport truck in the coroner's office, we have almost everything we need. I can't see us not making these trucks last for 10 years or more. But I submitted that to the fleet committee. I was not there for their discussion, and they may have more, but I'm willing to answer any questions you might have. And I will, Gary, let me give you this copy. And we sent out a letter with it that explained each section so that you didn't think, well, we just wanted it because it was cool. I didn't want you to think that. But I would love to answer any questions that you might have. Did anybody else not get it?
Gary, you probably didn't get it because it looks like it went to a wrong email.
Right, I didn't look at that.
There you go.
I'll just give you your copy. This is the letter that goes along with this section. But if anybody has any questions or concerns, I'd be glad to try to answer them, or would love to listen to your feedback, whatever it might be.
So is I'm like the queen of the questions tonight, but anyway, so on the lift gate part, is it like a semi where they drop it down with a pallet and you put the cot on and lift it up?
This lift gate, it's not a lift gate, it's a lift rack. It's in the bed of the pickup truck, and the cot is mounted and slides into that rack. And when we unload it, we push a button at the end. It's engaged with power and battery, and we pull it out. And then we have a button which lowers our wheels, and we disconnect it from the rack safely, because it'll stay locked in until you disconnect it the right way. And then the cots go from this height all the way down to here, so we can load the decedent wherever they might be and whatever weight they might be. And then we can raise them again and take them to the truck, and we slide them on the rack. And we already have 2 power lifts. So with the new vehicle, we would just be moving the power lifts from the van over to the new pickup truck.
That was my next question.
Yes,
What are
ma'am.
you currently doing? And you
Yeah,
just
we have
explained
one in the van and we have one in the truck. So if we could get you to replace our van with the current one we're asking for, that system will move over.
Other questions for Brent?
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming a second time and sitting through another long session.
No problem.
Thank you, Brad.
You're welcome. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you. Steve?
All right, looking at your project sheet, and then we'll segue into some other things, but starting out with the fairgrounds parking, I just want to make note that the drainage system that Mike put in out there with the 12 inches of rain handled it all.
That's awesome.
And it was really good, because now we had no more ponding of water in that area.
Nice.
The jail window replacement, the jail generator switchgear, I've reached out to both those companies just to confirm those dates. I have not yet heard back, but obviously we'll start planning now for those installations over the next week or so. The courthouse front entrance, they're working on the lights, still, everything else is finished with the exception of the lights and the landscaping. Haven't heard anything yet back from the landscaper of when they might do that. The courthouse elevator, we have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow, and that will segue into the conversation about the existing elevator. Remember when we met the last time during your meeting, at that time I did not have a cost of what it was going to repair the existing elevator, and then what might our path forward be to potentially put in another elevator. So the day after we met the last time, I did get a cost estimate a cost quote to repair the existing elevator, and that was $55,811.88. And for us to get the parts, because these parts that will fit this elevator are unique to this elevator, because they had to upgrade the drive system to a new drive system because the old system doesn't exist anymore. So I had to pay half of that down at $27,905.94. I paid for that with a credit card so we could expedite that process. I sent you all an email on that with the expectation that I could get you to pay for the entire project amount tonight.
Just laughs.
Did you say hope or expectation?
I'm glad you went after me, Steve.
I know.
Thank you.
Are they working on that this week, Steve? Maybe
No,
I missed that.
the final part, there's multiple parts that were to be delivered this week. Those parts have been delivered. There's one more part that's supposed to be delivered tomorrow, and then at that time, they'll schedule the work, and I hope that that's still this week.
Okay.
But I will, as soon as I get a date for that repair, I'll email you all so that you know what that might be if you're asked that question.
Thank you.
How long will it take them to repair?
I wouldn't expect it to take more than a day or two. I mean, it's almost like a plug and play deal. They're replacing just component parts and not making any major repairs other than that one drive unit. So I'm asking then for the approval for expenditures from the one time at $55,811.88.
So we could take that from contingency or from one-time line item? Contingency might be.
I suggest we do it from contingency.
Are you making a motion?
I'm making that motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we pay the elevator repair expense of $55,811.88 from the council's contingency line item. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Is that the last money request tonight, Steve?
No. That gets into the other part of the conversation. So the commissioners did make available a meeting to meet with all the department heads and elected officials that are in the courthouse so that we could lay out to them the issues at hand and the issues that we encountered when we put the out for bids previously and didn't get any bids. So we had that meeting last week, gave them an opportunity to ask questions. We did indicate that we're going to have to change the specifications that when this next bid goes out. We do have a meeting with LWC tomorrow to see what that might look like. And then we also indicated to the courts and to the prosecutor and to the clerk that we would meet with them individually so that we could get their feedback and give them answers as this process moves forward. The courthouse security entrance, as I indicated previously, that contract was signed. You approved the funding for that, and we have a pre-construction meeting on that tomorrow morning. And then on your sheet that I always provide to you, shows your council one-time budget amount, and then also the naming rights fund balance, as well as the expenditures that have been paid out thus far for the parking lot and the camping upgrades. We've heard the other departments give you an update on some of their activities for last week's storm damage. Our department wrestled with a lot of water infiltration in this building. As you know, we discharge our drainage water into the city's storm system. When it became overcome, when it was overwhelmed, we had things backing up into our system. So on, I forget whether it was Wednesday night or Thursday night, because we had, and ironically, because EMA is addressing all these things, it was EMA who was affected mostly in this building. We required our building and ground staff to spend the night here to man the pumps and keep water from coming in and manning the vacuums. And so we escaped with pretty limited damage. Mostly drywall we'll be replacing. I think we can get the carpets cleaned without much issue. One damage we did sustain, we took a lightning strike to one of our trees at the courthouse, blew some of the bark off of it, blew a hole through the soil, but it also impacted ironically, the HVAC system in EMA. It blew the, I know, must be a curse or something, I don't know. But it blew the side out of the compressor, fried the electronics in it. So I called Jeff, and Jeff got Max on the phone, and we needed to get that up and running because they're based out of the EMA area, and they wouldn't have had any air conditioning down there. So the cost for repairs was $9,420.29, and that has been repaired and it's up and running again. So I'm asking for that money as well.
I move we pay that from contingency also.
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we pay that $9,420.29 from our contingency line item. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Certainly some of the expenses that we're going to have will not match anything that Mike has had with his repairs, but we'll have overtime. Matthew indicated to us that because of the Red Cross using the Coleman Center for some folks displaced, that we can turn in the rental amount that we lost because we canceled 2 rentals out there during this time period. We had a wedding that was scheduled. I'm happy to say that the wedding went on after, even though it got canceled at the Coleman. They had it outside, and they used our place to park. So they did get married. And then we had a circus that was scheduled, and so that got canceled as well. So we'll have some rental fees, some overtime, some damage here that I spoke of, plus this $9,400. We'll add that to the list as well for some damage that we sustained through this. I will also say that our Weights and Measures Division, we were called to do 5 different gas stations that had been suspected of having water infiltration because of all the flooding. 3 of those stations were cleared. 2 of them were closed down. One of them, after the state arrived and did some testing and they did some pumping, they were able to open that station back up. But the one in Cambridge City obviously remains closed because they sustained more than just water in the pump. So of the 5, 4 of them were back open, and the one in Cambridge remains closed. And our Weights and Measures inspectors took care of that locally. We also, our building inspectors are available. You heard Matthew indicate that FEMA is here doing a preliminary look. So now after that, the state will come in and do an assessment of this, and our building inspectors will work under their authority to help with the assessment of these buildings. One question, or one thing that I want to just give you a brief overview of the flood requirements for rebuilding, because I know you as elected officials are going to get questions. You're probably going to get comments from folks saying, why can't I rebuild? Why can't I do it now? So I've got a document in front of you just so you can kind of get an understanding of who's responsible for what and where. So this first page, first of all, every community in Wayne County, every incorporated town, plus the county government, plus the city of Richmond, is part of the federal flood insurance program. You need to do that because when somebody gets a mortgage from a federally insured bank and it's in a flood-prone area, you have to carry flood insurance. And so if you didn't participate in the program, they wouldn't be able to do that. So every community is part of that. There are 15 different jurisdictions that are part of that program. So Wayne County government does not have authority over all these jurisdictions in the county. So keep that in mind. So there are 8 areas that have plan commissions. And so each area that has a plan commission has that floodplain authority. Those that do not have plan commissions, it's the executive branch that has the authority to enforce the flood ordinance that they have. So all these entities, the town of Economy, Hagerstown, Wayne County government, we all have our separate flood ordinances, although they all read basically the same because you're required to have that to be a part of the federal flood insurance. So on this first page, you see the different jurisdictions. So take Hagerstown. Everything you see in color is the Hagerstown jurisdiction with respect to the flood requirements. And you can see that it goes outside their corporate boundaries because they exercise that planning jurisdiction within that 2-mile fringe. So even outside the corporate boundaries of Hagerstown, their plan commission still has the authority for flood ordinance enforcement, not Wayne County government. Same way with Cambridge City. You've got multiple jurisdictions down there. You've got Dublin, Mount Auburn, Pershing, Milton, Cambridge City. And then Cambridge City exercises jurisdiction outside their 2 corporate boundaries. Same way with Centerville, Richmond, Spring Grove, Boston, Fountain City, Whitewater, Economy. Those are all incorporated. Greens Fork, those are all incorporated communities. The only areas that we would have jurisdiction in is Greens Fork because we have a interlocal agreement with them, Spring Grove because we have an interlocal agreement, and then the unincorporated area of the county outside those 2-mile fringe areas. The second page is Williamsburg, and obviously we've had a lot of activity in Williamsburg, and I just wanted to show you. So let me go back to the flood ordinance. What's going to be an issue here is if it's in a floodway. So when you look at Williamsburg's map here, that the pink and turquoise striping is the floodway. If it's in a floodway, and this would include Cambridge, Hagerstown, wherever the case may be, you cannot rebuild there without DNR approval. Now, when I say rebuild, if you've suffered more than 50% value of the property. It doesn't include belongings or anything of that sort. It includes the structure itself. If it's in that blue, the solid blue area, then the local floodplain administrator and the local plan department would have jurisdiction to issue permits. And they're saying under the same guidelines of the 50% or less value. So you can see Williamsburg is in pretty, not that they're in good shape with the water table there, but if they did sustain damage, they're not going to be impacted with the flood ordinance because almost all that property is outside the flood plain. The third page, and you'll see these on the first page map, when you see this purple striping, this is areas that have been designated by the Department of Natural Resources as having a propensity to be flooded. They've been mapped, but there's not been a base flood elevation established. And so if there is a structure inside these areas, before you can issue any permits for rebuild, you have to have an analysis done of this. And there's a template, there's a process that we go through with the Department of Natural Resources, but it takes time. It takes up to 90 days. And obviously, you know, you're going to have some folks who want to get something done pretty quick. And then the fourth page is Hagerstown. Zeroed in on Hagerstown a little closer so you can see what area they have responsibility for. And you can see there's a spot that goes right through the center of town there that's in that hash mark place. But again, you might get questioned on this, or why can't I rebuild, or why can't I do this? But this falls under the Hagerstown Plan Administrator's responsibility. And then the fifth page is Cambridge City, and you can see that they have a little more in their jurisdiction. And the same thing applies here. So the Cambridge City Plan Administrator would make the call on enforcing their flood ordinance. Any questions?
A lot.
I know. I know. It's very complicated. It's, and the ordinance itself, I mean, I won't, you know, it's very burdensome to the homeowner when they sustain damage like this. There's no question. Obviously, the intent of the overall law is to limit the loss that happens in these areas, but it's very frustrating to the homeowner who's lived there for a long time, and now they've suffered this type of thing, and they want to rebuild. They want to, now, you know, so obviously you can put in a lot of drywall, you can do a lot of wiring, you can put in a lot of electric meter bases and things of that sort. It's when you've had a structure basically that's probably been moved off the foundation, that type of thing. I know there's been some structures that I've heard of that as the water rushed through the house, it actually pushed the back wall out. And those are the ones that's probably going to have some issues. Any questions?
Steve?
Yep.
A few years back, we had a problem. All of Jacksonburg was put in floodplain.
Yep.
I went through Jacksonburg the other day, then sure all the streets, I went through Jacksonburg, I didn't see a water standing anywhere.
Yep, so.
Did they have any damage at all down there?
Not that I'm aware of, and to the rest of the story, like Paul Harvey would say, well, you probably don't know who Paul Harvey was. We made this very issue with DNR because we had a person that wanted to build a garage onto their house. They were in a floodplain. They couldn't because it was going to increase the value of their home. We took issue with it with the DNR. Brandon, our county engineer, who is also a hydraulic engineer, so he was able to help get that out of the floodplain, most of it. And because we kept making the point that the lake there acts as a big detention pond. I mean, it absorbs all the drainage, and I think that's what happened this time. So we didn't have that issue because most of it's been taken out of the floodplain. And to what you just said, it didn't flood. Yeah.
Steve, I have a question back to the Coolman Center. You know, the folks that are staying there. So the American Red Cross, and this is a question, are they running everything? Do our folks go and clean the toilets and
Yeah.
dump the trash?
Yeah, and
But
so
they do
we'll-
the cooking and they do the whatever?
And we're not cooking, but
No, I mean, they are
yeah,
feeding them.
they're feeding the meals, but we're obviously doing the janitorial stuff and that type of thing. And then we have somebody available if they call in the middle of the night and something has happened and needs repairs. And so we'll keep track of those kind of
Are
expenses
they
as well.
using the kitchen area there
Yes.
also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Steve, I have a question that obviously as folks around the county begin to want to repair, building permits, your office down the hall is going to be extremely busy. The staff there, are you equipping them with all this information that
Oh,
they
yeah.
can respond to the citizens?
Yeah, in fact, we have, I'm a certified floodplain administrator as well as Angela. So she knows the same information that I do. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
I just envision this hallway being busy at the appropriate time.
See, I mean, obviously, just like Matthew said, we're going to start into the recovery stage, and as people get things cleaned up, a lot of these folks still got to go through the insurance process. You know, some of the insurance, they don't want you to do anything to it until they have a chance to look at it. So we'll become more involved over the next couple of weeks, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Other questions for Steve?
Thank you, Steve, for everything.
Again, we want to thank you and your staff for keeping this building dry.
I know it.
In particular. Okay.
Okay, a couple of things that the commissioners still need to take care of, and as we've been working through this flood process. We've been talking to the communities about what their needs might be to see if we have available replacement items for some of them. So one of the things that came up has to do with police department in Cambridge City and a request for some equipment. So Aaron, do you want to walk us through what we might be able to do with unrestricted opioid dollars?
Yes, with it being the police agency of Cambridge City, the chief of police reached out and asked if unrestricted opioid funds could be used, and as a matter of fact, it can be with them being a police agency. And when they reached out, so I reached out to also the fire department in Cambridge and also Milton Fire and Police, reached out to Hagerstown Fire and Police, the contacts there in the towns anyway, and asked if they had specific needs that came up because of the floods. The only group that said that they lost, which, as you guys know, the town of Cambridge, their city building and police building got totally flooded. So the office equipment that the police department uses, their computer and different things like that, got totally, I mean, they're gone. And to get them back up and running, they've asked a request from the unrestricted opioid funding. And so they put in an application for the commissioners to consider as emergency funding through the unrestricted instead of going through the application process, which we have set up through the committee. And the total of that is $6,180.76. And I did not see that that was unreasonable by any means, and I thought this would be a good fit and a great resource. I did check with Matthew Kane, just for everybody to know, to say, hey, is this something we should wait for FEMA or the state, or do you think unrestricted opioid is a good place to fund this? Matthew did share with me, said, with it being just a little over $6,000, the opioid unrestricted fund would be very appropriate to fund this through the department, even though that can still go to the loss for FEMA through Matthew and his group. So I've kind of covered all the bases, and then I brought it to the commissioners and bringing it today as a request from Cambridge City to give to them $6,180.76 out of the unrestricted opioid fund, and I would like to go ahead and make a motion to approve that.
I will second that. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. The second issue is through Cambridge City, not the police department, but the city itself, the town itself. They gave us a list of additional equipment that they need and requested that we look at that and see what we might have available. I know the sheriff's department is looking through some of the equipment that they have to see if it could be on loan to them. The request for a truck also came to us. I checked with our insurance carrier, and the situation with a truck is a vehicle that is licensed to be on the road is different. The insurance policy is different. And so the most logical process to put a truck in their hands that they can use is to actually give them the truck. In working with Mike Sharp, we have 3 pickup trucks that are in the rotation to be replaced, and he offered one of those up that they're not currently using and that we could transfer. So in order to do this, we'll have to find that it has no value to the county going forward. We've done that in several situations in the fairly recent past. And that truck then would meet their needs for their water department to be able to use. We've got all the paperwork here, and we can work with Bobby if this is approved tonight to get that to them tomorrow. So I would make a motion that we find that this truck, and I've got the ID or the VIN number here, would be found by us to have no value to the county.
I'll second that.
What year is the vehicle?
It's a 2011.
How many
It
miles?
has 140,000 miles
Just so
on it.
everybody knows. This is not one we just bought
The new
last
one.
year, so
Correct.
just to make sure. So,
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on finding this to have no value to the county? If there's no further discussion, anyone in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So we've found that the truck has no value to the county. I would make a motion that we transfer title of this vehicle to the town of Cambridge City. And there's a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Does that have a car number? Does that have a car number attached to it?
It's not on, I have a copy of the title,
Okay.
so we can find that out from the VIN number. Again, we did reach out to other communities to see if they had needs. We haven't received any yet. If we do, we'll continue to work that to see what might be available, what might be the best way to help out those communities. So that's all I have for this evening. Aaron, or
So,
Brad, do you have anything else? Questions?
Yeah, I do have a couple
Lucy doesn't
questions.
have anything.
I know it's late,
Go
I know
ahead.
we're all tired, but are we doing budget stuff?
We still
Yeah.
have to do budget
Can't
stuff,
put it
yeah.
off at every meeting.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You
Yeah.
have questions for us?
Yeah, well, so I'm a little bit confused. First of all, I'm shocked not shocked. I was overwhelmed with pride to be in Cambridge City at the press conference and walk into the NDOT to see how many agencies were working together. I mean, it was just very emotional to see how everybody it's like whatever we have to do, including y'all, and knowing how hard y'all worked during that period of time. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of people. I mean, Cambridge City their town has, what are they doing? Like, they're in the fire station, right?
They're moving
temporarily
to the
limited.
trustee's office.
They're gonna move to the trustee's office? Okay, all right, okay. So I know there's not a whole lot we can do, but I just feel,
We're helping them with supplies,
Okay.
paper, and stuff like
Okay.
that. They've reached
Okay.
out to us, and
okay.
when they
Alright.
make a request, and if we have it, we're giving it to them, so.
Okay.
And just so you know,
Not just them, anybody that
So I
has
was,
those
right,
needs.
between Hagerstown and,
right.
And
So through the
Milton and-
foundation, through Wayne County Cares, it was set up
Cares, right,
through
right.
during COVID. We're utilizing that to where people can donate. And so I've been able to reach out through, thank goodness for Brad Barrett was very kind to give me the contact for Amazon, who works with
right.
disaster relief.
Okay.
And Amazon is big in helping communities, and so I've been able to make that contact, and we're in the process of the list that Cambridge City has asked for, their needs for their cleanup and the process through. I mean, there's some big items on that list. The truck was one of them.
Right.
But there's other big items too. But there's a lot of that stuff that can be purchased through Amazon, and Amazon is going to, I'm pretty sure the process is going to be they're going to give us the vouchers. Foundation's going to order it and ship it to the communities that need it. And this isn't just for Cambridge City. This is for all the communities that are affected. And I've got like several communities, and I've reached out to them, and I've kind of narrowed it down what everybody is needing, what they say they need, and trying to get them what they need through Amazon, what's available on Amazon. And so the Amazon's been very grateful or gracious to us and helpful that way too. So just so you know on that end.
So the Williamsburg one kind of shocked me. Because none of that was brought up while we were taking care of Cambridge and Hagerstown. It seems like it just popped up in the last 3 days of they were in a crisis. So I'm just naive to, is that a historical issue there with?
Yes.
Okay. And is there leadership there that's helping guide them through that, or do we need to help? Okay, we can talk about that offline. Okay, all right.
EMA's
EMA is
trying to work with them
Okay.
to try to help them, and they've given them suggestions, and they are following some of EMA's suggestions. But EMA is working with them very diligently to try to help them. The problem is the water level in Williamsburg, first of all, the groundwater level is so high to
Right.
start with. And then to add over 10 inches of rain, there's just nowhere for it to go. And until it dries out and it stops raining, it's just very difficult to deal with. And we just got to get the water out of town. And so that's what they're doing now, so.
The volunteers are, the food's being supplied, volunteers at churches and stuff.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
So,
Okay.
We have to remember it's an unincorporated town.
So that's what was my biggest concern is how, because of that, where does this all step? Who steps in? Who besides EMA? So I,
County.
Yeah.
okay.
The
so I
county, the
wanna-
township,
Okay.
fire department, or there are several entities that are working it, the township trustee, so.
I just wanted to clarify if that's something, is
They've all been talked to.
there something we need to do? Okay, thank you.
So if I could add also, because I worked at the Christian church Monday, all day, and several people came in and asked, if you are in, for our viewers, if you are in Wayne County anywhere, you can go to the church for anything. It doesn't matter if you don't live in Cambridge City. We had several people ask, please come there and get that. And I know Matthew talked about the website, and we talked about Monday that they needed to get that out there because there were Facebook posts that, well, that's only for Cambridge. I said, no, it's not just for Cambridge. So please, if you have anybody that needs anything, go there. You can eat there. You can get clothes, food, cleaning supplies, baby things, whatever, first aid stuff. They have everything.
It looks like a Walmart in there. I mean, they have everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. And Walmart sent, when I was there, we had 3 trucks from Walmart, Amazon, Sam's Club, Blessing, Community Blessings or something. And, I mean, we couldn't unload the trucks quick enough, and here was another one. And it's like, oh my goodness. So we have lots of things for people. It was wonderful.
Agreed.
Anything else we have on the agenda? Budget discussions? I'll leave that up to our finance chairman if we want to consider any of that this evening or do that at our next meeting.
If we'll get to it at our next meeting.
Well, in 2 weeks or whatever it is, the first of
The first of the month,
the month,
Yeah.
will be a morning meeting, so we could
hopefully
extend.
can stay. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, you know, everybody was very gracious this year and didn't ask for a lot of stuff. And what I would like to know from Amy real quick tonight is what's 1% raise? The amount.
She
I
sent
don't
that out to
I
us.
just sent that
didn't
to you
see
guys.
it.
I don't have it with me.
Hold on.
You know what? I haven't set up I haven't been to IT yet. I need to do that because I think I'm not getting stuff.
Are you getting it?
Does anybody
Here,
have it?
I got it.
It just doesn't go into my computer. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. No problem. I'll get it.
I brought it to the last meeting.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I know.
She's got it.
And you
for-
know, if we run into anything next time, we may just have to make a special meeting, but I think we'll be fine.
1% is 180,000.
Oh, that's good.
759.
Good.
2%, 361.
200 or 220.
I did get that.
Okay.
Because your name's up there now.
You're the big
Tell me that again, Misty.
It recognized your voice.
I can email that to you too.
At our next meeting, we do have the hearing that morning for the Hagerstown Library's request to do a bond issue.
Just send me
So
notes.
that will take not a lot of time, but some.
We'll keep the
Okay.
agenda short.
Try to keep the agenda short and
Yeah, really.
to get into the budget and spend considerable time in the morning.
Okay.
Anything else for tonight? Do you have a motion to adjourn? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Do you need the longevity?